Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving headfirst into the world of leasing. Whether you're a renter trying to find a home or a landlord managing a property, that whole journey from application to move out can feel like a total maze. So let's break it all down and get you the real 411 on what you're getting into.
Okay, so let's get right into it. When you sign that lease, what are you really signing up for? I mean, it's so much more than just trading rent for a set of keys. You're actually entering a kind of legal partnership, and it comes with a whole set of rights and responsibilities. Honestly, understanding this from the get-go is the absolute best way for everyone involved to make sure things go smoothly.
So the foundation for this entire relationship, the thing that holds it all together, it all comes down to one single document. It's the rulebook, it's the guide, it's the contract for the whole tenancy. I'm talking, of course, about the lease agreement itself. At its heart, a lease is a legally binding contract. And I want to stress that. It's not just a suggestion or a guideline. It's a solid agreement that lays out all the terms for using a property for a specific amount of time in exchange for rent. And once both the landlord and the tenant put their signature on that dotted line, that's it. You are both locked in and have to follow those terms.
You see, a lease really creates this partnership, and it puts clear duties on both sides. The landlord, they've got to provide a home that's safe and habitable, and they have to take care of necessary repairs. And in return, the tenant has to pay their rent on time and, of course, follow the rules laid out in the lease. It is absolutely a two-way street, and the lease is the roadmap that you both have to follow.
But here's the thing. A lease doesn't exist in a vacuum. Nope. It's governed by a huge set of laws that every single landlord and tenant needs to know about. I'm talking about the Fair Housing Act. You can think of it as the ultimate rulebook for the entire game, and it's designed to make sure everyone gets a fair shot at finding a place to live. And when we talk about fair housing, there is one number that is just fundamental to the whole thing. It's everything. That number is 7.
So why is that number so important? Well, the Fair Housing Act makes it illegal to discriminate based on these 7 protected classes. To put it simply, a landlord can't refuse to rent to you, or charge you more, or set different rules for you just because of your race, your religion, if you have kids, or if you have a disability, among these other things.
So what does it actually take to prove discrimination? It's a pretty high bar, actually. It's more than just getting a bad vibe or feeling like you were treated unfairly. For it to be illegal discrimination, you have to prove 3 things: that you were treated differently, that it had a negative effect on you, and, this is the key, that it was done because you're a member of one of those 7 protected classes. Okay, so you've got the basics of the lease, and you know the legal rules of the road. But what does the process of actually renting a place look like? Let's walk through the practical steps that'll take you from just applying for a place to getting those keys in your hand. The application process is really all about risk assessment. For the landlord, they're screening you, looking at your credit, your rental history, to manage their risk. They'll also verify your job and income to make sure you can actually afford the rent. For you, the tenant, this is your chance to show you're a great, qualified applicant. And the most important thing for the landlord is to have fair, consistent criteria that they apply to every single applicant to make sure they're following those fair housing laws.
All right, let's talk about one of the biggest points of confusion and conflict in the entire rental world: the security deposit. Seriously, this trips so many people up. What is it for? When do you get it back? And the biggest question of all, whose money is it anyway?
Let me be crystal clear about this, because it's the most important thing to remember. The security deposit is and always will be the tenant's money, period. The landlord is just holding on to it in trust. Think of them as a temporary guardian of your cash. Its only purpose is to cover unpaid rent or to fix damages that go beyond just normal wear and tear. It is not the landlord's piggy bank. Sooner or later, every lease comes to an end. It's just a fact. But how it ends, well, that can be a different story. Whether it's a nice, smooth move-out or a really difficult termination, that's our final and super critical topic.
Now, when a lease is broken and things really go wrong, it can lead to what's formally called the dispossessory process, or what most of us call eviction. And this is not something a landlord can just decide to do one afternoon. It is a very strict, multi-step legal process. From making a formal demand for payment to filing in court, every single step has to be followed to the letter of the law.
Now look at this. This is such a simple but incredibly powerful tool for preventing fights over the security deposit. By using the exact same checklist to document how everything looks when you move in and then again when you move out, you create this clear, objective record. It's brilliant, right? This protects the tenant from getting dinged for damage that was already there. And it protects the landlord by showing exactly what new damage occurred during the tenancy.
So what's the secret to making sure the security deposit is handled fairly? It really comes down to just two things: communication and documentation. Doing a walkthrough together before you move out, using that checklist we just saw, and taking tons of pictures, that's your best defense. And for landlords, you have to remember, if you deduct anything from that deposit, you have to provide an itemized list of what you're charging for and the receipts to back it up.
So, after going through all of this, the complex rules, the strict legal processes, all the potential pitfalls from fair housing to security deposits, it kind of makes you wonder, right? Whether you're a landlord trying to protect your investment or a tenant just navigating the system, is going it alone really the best way? Or could getting a pro involved be the missing piece of the puzzle that makes all the difference? That's definitely something to think about.